Good evening, Bahamas, coming up tonight on our news.
Port Charlotte MP Dr. Andre Rollins clashes with several PLP members of Parliament in the House of Assembly. That story straight ahead.
An early morning shooting leaves one man dead. That story's coming up straight ahead.
Who the opposition leader says threw her under the bus.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina McNeil. Topping news tonight, members of Parliament concluded debate on the Freedom of Information bill this afternoon, but not before Fort Charlotte MP Dr. Andre Rollins ripped into the bill. He asserted FOI stands for full of it, not freedom of information. He also got into a series of shouting matches with several PLP MPs. Jasmine Brown reports.
Dr. Rollins did not back down as he clashed with those MPs, accusing the Christie administration of being, quote, full of it.
Rollins said this government is only interested in shameless political spin and is using the Freedom of Information bill as campaign rhetoric.
This government need not refer to this legislation as the Freedom of Information bill, because all right-thinking Bahamians know that if a government this secretive and untrustworthy could bring such legislation to this House for debate, FOI cannot stand for freedom of information. It can only stand for full of it.
Rollins said weeks away from the House being dissolved, there are still 206 unanswered questions from the opposition. The Fort Charlotte MP questioned the final sale of Bahamar to Chow Tai Fook Enterprises. He also questioned the number of Chinese workers being allowed to work on the point, which caused this exchange between Rollins and Pinewood MP Kalish Roll.
The ratio under the points heads of agreement is 70, 30, 70% Bahamian. You know, there is nothing different than that. So the member can talk loud all he wants. He can cast aspersions. He can say whatever he wants.
So where they get this 500 from if it's a 70-30 split? The truth is not in them, Mr. Speaker. The truth is not in them. We were told, don't stutter. Don't stutter, Pinewood, don't stutter.
Rollins went further, hitting out at Marathon MP Jerome Fitzgerald over the Rubis oil leak.
This government and the constituency's member of Parliament, who happens to sit in the cabinet, failed to disclose the nature of this very serious public health hazard. It is in the public interest to know whether that minister and member of Parliament's wife, who happens to be one of the lawyers in the law firm representing Rubis, whether she was in any way directly involved in representing Rubis during the year that the government sat on this critical information.
Fitzgerald stood on a point of order to defend his family and accused Rollins of being obsessed with him.
Mr. Speaker, the member has obviously gone way across the line. Way across the line. The member is now bringing my spouse, my wife, who is a partner in a law firm, who has responsibility in that law firm for some, I think it's up to 5,000 companies. And it's inappropriate for the member in attempting to exercise his fixation with me. I believe when he go to bed dreaming about Fitzgerald. When he wake up with Fitzgerald on his mind. Now he got my wife on his mind, Mr. Speaker. The member needs some help.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, Minister of State for Finance Michael Halkitis is standing by his recent comments on value-added tax spending. Halkitis addressed the issue while making his contribution to the debate on the Freedom of Information bill. The issue of that spending has become a topic of national debate after Minister of State for Finance Michael Halkitis gave a speech at the PLP National Convention last month. Today, Halkitis insisted VAT has placed the government in good financial standing, allowing the government to achieve many goals.
As a result of the reform, Mr. Speaker, we have improved our financial position. We can meet the needs of governance in a better way. We can service our debt, including debt payment and interest payment. And, Mr. Speaker, we are in a better financial position to arrange financing for capital investment. I've gave examples of all of these, Mr. Speaker. I spoke about how we doubled the provision for scholarships, how we were able to undertake capital works to address some long-standing deficiencies, how we were able to provide for the employment of essential personnel, doctors, teachers, defense force, police, how we were able to fill in some gaps, Mr. Speaker.
Halkitis admits that VAT money was not actually spent on those projects, but used to service those loans. Nearly $1 billion has been collected since the implementation of value-added tax in January 2015. In other news, just months before Bahamians head to the polls in the next general election, the leader of the opposition has found herself thrown under the bus by a leader she once thought of as an ally and the party she pledged her allegiance to. However, Loretta Butler Turner says she will only continue to plow forward with her plan to give the Bahamian electorate something new to look forward to on Election Day.
I think it's an open secret that Branville McCartney has thrown me under the bus. Despite the fact that we clearly had discussions going on, and he, in those discussions, realized what we were trying to build.
But she admits that her initial plans following the dramatic leadership coup involving 7 rebel MPs who showed no confidence in Free National Movement leader Dr. Hubert Minnis have fallen flat.
I admit that the most powerful coalition that I thought would have transformed the landscape has pretty much fallen flat. But there are other individuals, Bahamians out there, that want to come forward, that want to be a part of change, that want to be able to serve their country.
The Long Island MP says she is currently in talks with other individuals who are interested in joining her in the way forward to shatter the status quo.
I believe that the status quo as we see it today, the shadow of an F&M, what used to be, and a PLP that is totally out of control, unaccountable, and really lacking compassion and heart for the people. Neither of those vehicles in their current state is attracting or exciting the political electorate. The Bahamian people are hurting. Grand Bahama has been brought to its knees under this PLP administration. Family islands are not getting any returns really on all of the taxes that have been paid over the past 2 years, especially as it relates to VAT. We have a prime minister and a government that is not being open and truthful with the Bahamian people. What they're not hiding behind judicial legalese, they're basically misleading the Bahamian people.
When asked if she believes the Bahamian people are ready or reluctant for a female leader, Butler Turner presented this challenge to the electorate.
I challenge Bahamians who may be hearing this tonight. Let's start changing things up. Perry Christie is beyond his use-by date. The F&M no longer enjoys the position because they've thrown me under the bus, essentially, of the official opposition, at least the leader of the party, let me say that. The leader of the Free National Movement no longer enjoys that.
Butler Turner says she believes that when her team is revealed, the Bahamian people will say that it was worth the wait.
Still to come on our news, an off-duty officer shoots and kills an armed man. Plus, Western Air officials speak after one of their planes skids off of a runway. That's coming up when our news returns.